Well, I kind of wonder sometimes about how come our elected officials get rich when they get into office. Well, I'm fixing to talk a little bit about that, and it's two things that might not seem how they have a lot in common, but let me talk to you about this. We got regulations about the athletes betting on their own games, and they can influence and members of Congress are investing in companies that they regulate. Now you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Well, we're not playing ball or making policy. It's just hear me out. Athlete betting on games. You know, professional athletes are mighty talented, but they also are mighty influenced by money. And when an athlete bets on their own team to win, it's like trying to buy a prize at the county fair. It's not all right, but we don't want them to do it. We got to keep them for reasons. Fairness in sports, we got to trust the athletes to be fair competitors, but when they're betting on themselves or the other team, we can look at some insider information, and those folks have access to that information. Do we want to hear this thing out and getting a unfair edge? Sportsmanship, when you're rooting for your own team, it's like watching the barnyard gate. They might try to corral the game in their own favor. Yeah, well, Congress investments. Now, I know you're thinking that politics, stocks don't go together, but we got to look at it this way. We got two reasons for allowing this. They say that they're investing their management, then we figure that if they give it to some folks to manage their investment for them, that they might be as invested in the outcome and not considered. But I think that there's no way to keep that investment from getting in their way and voting to protect their investment. And that's the reason they gain all that money in while they're in office. And we need transparency, and we do require members of Congress to disclose their financial interests, but sometimes we got to worry about too little and too late. Reckon there's a reason that they get rich for being elected. Well, that's the parallels. You might be thinking, well, don't see how this is relevant, but let me tell you, you ain't it's all about the influence and integrity in sports. And we got a clear conflict of interest, so why do we allow the same thing in Congress? I'm not saying that every member of Congress is bad as them athletes betting on their own talented teams, but we got to ask ourselves if we're treating them too loosely. We should be looking at the ways to keep those investment interests out of the picture. And if we're looking for an old South Plains solution, and I ain't saying that every member of Congress is going to be swayed by their investments, but we do need some oversight and checks and balances on this, just like we have in sports. We might consider something like a blinded trust model or something for lawmakers' investments on a third-party management that can't have any influence on the outcome. Well, let's get to talking. So let's talk about this, and let's try to figure out, well, if there's ways we can keep our elected officials from getting too big on the influence of their own investments. We want to be fair and have fair competition in sports, and we want the politics to be fair too. It ain't too much to ask, so that's my 2 cents. And if you liked it, give me a thumbs up and share and subscribe. And if it speaks to you, keep it going. and let's just keep it going because we need the oversight. And that's adios amigos, and these opinions are mine.